Hey everyone, welcome back to another lesson here on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about how many units you actually need to order for your first order. This is a topic that a lot of people are interested in. Do I need 100? Do I need 500? Do I need 5,000? Amazon just recently opened up their doors and are allowing new sellers to send in up to 1,000 units in each specific category. Standard size, oversized, apparel. There's one other one I'm forgetting. So we're going to be talking about today. Be sure to stick around to the end. Be sure to like and subscribe down below. Without further ado, let's just get right into it. All right, so we've just moved over into my computer. I have a market pulled up here. Just literally searched build your own prefix on Amazon and did swing set, whatever. Product is not important. How many units do we need to order? Well, that all depends. It all depends on several factors. It depends on your budget. It depends on the type of product, the size of the product, and depends on how many units a month that product is selling. Let's first talk about how many units per month the product is selling. So if we come in here, build your own swing set, whatever, we pull up our tool here. This is X-Ray by Helium 10. There'll be a link down below for this. You can get a discount, it's affiliate link. Look at something like this, right? So they're selling for $185. It's a big product. It's $16,000 per month. That's actually Amazon has the buy box for that one. Whatever. We're just assuming the product isn't really, like we were saying, the product's not really super important here. Again, we have a metal swing set brackets. That one's doing $24,000 per month. It's only $50. That's actually pretty interesting. We'll have to look into that. So we'll open this one up here. A couple things we want to look into. How many units are they selling per month? This listing specifically will serve as our average. So we'll say that this is the market average. We don't have a bunch of different listings to look at for this specific product. You would want to do this across many different ASINs. What is the average number of sales per month for that product? You figure someone who's a top performer and is ranked and is selling really well, selling 490 per month. Maybe your first month you'll be able to do a fraction of that. Maybe you'll be able to do 150, 175, 200. If you're lucky, you might be able to just skyrocket right up to the average number of sales per month that the market is getting. If you have a fantastic listing and you've done something, you've hit that kind of sweet spot. That's happened to myself before. It's happened to many other sellers before. So it's not rare or extremely rare that you'll be able to hit that right away, but it's unlikely. For the most part, you're generally going to be doing a fraction of what the average market sales is in the first month. Second month, sales might pick up. Sometimes it's not always just right away that your product gets ranked. It might take a little while. So I generally like to use this kind of rule of thumb where like I'm going to order the average number of sales for 30 days across the market, good sellers and bad, take a range. And I'm going to order that as my first order. So if we were saying that 490 was the market average, we have some people doing 700, 800, we have some people doing 150, we have some people doing 200, some people doing 600. 490 is your market average. I would probably order somewhere in that range, 400 to 500 units per month. Again, now that we have that kind of really general number of just like your market average for the first month, the reason I do that is because generally the first couple of weeks are me thinking about or first week or two is going to be thinking about, do I need to reorder and when do I need to reorder? How much do I need to reorder? If I order the market average, generally I'm not going to sell the average number of sales divided by 30 per day, right? 500 divided by 30, we're looking at somewhere in 15 units per day, 17 units per day, something like that. We're not going to be selling that every single day right as soon as we start. So that's what I mean. Like you might sell 300 your first month, even though the market average is 500. That'll give you time to kind of see the direction of the product and place an order and not go out of stock. So if you ordered only 200, the market average was 500 sales per month, your listing starts performing well, which we're hoping that it will. You might end up being out of stock for 2-3 weeks, crushing all of that rank that you did for your first 200 units. It's almost like the first 200 units didn't even matter because you just get, crushed by going out of stock. Staying in stock is very important. Now, what about your budget? So your budget, you should always be able to afford not only your first shipment, but several shipments after that one. So if you have, $10,000 to start, don't spend $7,000 on inventory, right? First round done. That picks up, you can't afford to keep that in stock. Maybe spend $2,500 in inventory, and then you have your photography, your, we're going to say that was wrapped up with freight forwarding, your photography, your listing price, your copywriting, and then you have your PPC. Maybe now you're all in somewhere around 3,200, 3,700. Now you could go make another $2,500 or even $5,000 order to restock that inventory. Does that make sense? So you always want to have more than you need for a product launch. Don't just cut yourself razor thin right down using up all your capital. You won't be able to reorder. Even if you have successful products, it's not going to matter, right? Because you have to be able to keep them in stock. It's always better to do one thing well than a bunch of things dabbling and not doing them that well. Like you're cheaping out on photography or you're not keeping things in stock. Don't scale faster than you can scale. It's like, I'm kind of tall. I'm like a little bit over 6 foot. When I go upstairs, I'll generally go 2 at once. But I couldn't go 6 at once, right? My legs aren't that long. That's like trying to scale without enough money, right? You're trying to stretch more than you have to get to where you want to go. And it's just not going to happen, right? You're going to end up falling down the stairs. That's what's going to happen to your Amazon business. So far we've covered the amount of market average, trying to get enough in so that you don't go out of stock. And then we've covered budget, trying to stay in stock for long enough. Now, the next thing that we actually want to talk about is the size of your product. This one is just almost a quick reminder, is like when you're ordering how many units you need, keep in mind that if you over order, you're going to have storage fees. The larger the product is, the more those fees are going to be. It's almost always better to go out of stock for a couple days than it would be to be overstock by 100 days. Does that make sense? You don't really want to have too much inventory either. So don't take this as like the first thing you do, order 1,000 units and take up your full storage cap. That's usually not the answer either, right? When we're looking through a market and we see someone like this doing 1,400 units per month, that doesn't always mean that you're going to be able to do that. Even if you get the listing just right, you get it perfect. That's generally something you have to work up to for years. Maybe it took them 5 years to get to that sales velocity after ranking for thousands of keywords and having thousands of ratings. Generally not going to happen to you right away. It's generally safe to be on the side of conservative with the amount you're sending in rather than like a surplus amount being sent in. I like to get that confirmation first, that proof of concept that, hey, this is something that's going to work, which is why I'll generally start with just 30 days of estimated inventory. I'm not going up to that 90-day revolving 3 months of inventory just yet. Just stick around 30 days for now. If you want to push that out to 45 days just to make sure that your lead time, if you have a specifically long lead time for your product, it takes them a while to pack it. On top of the shipping, you might want to stretch that out a little bit, just assuming that you're going to be selling. If you're really confident in your product, you could assume that you're going to be selling around the market average by day number 25 or something. I would order a little bit more. If you are really just trying to test the market, you're just trying to, kind of get your feet wet, as they say, and see what's going to happen. Err on the side of, caution. Go a little bit less. Don't try and dive all the way in before you see that product is actually selling. But just to sum up really quickly, I would order about a 30-day or 40-day market average for your inventory. So if your market's selling between 150 and 300 units per month, order that amount of inventory. That'll give you time to test the market, not go to stock right away, because you're obviously not going to sell more than what's already there most of the time. Once you see those sales coming in, you could place another order. If that order with packing and shipping takes about 30 days to arrive, you might be out of stock for a couple days, or assuming that, it took you several days or a week or 2 weeks to get ranked, and you're only selling 1 to 3 a day, not 10 a day, that'll actually cover that time. So that's why usually ordering a month's worth of revolving inventory for ranked sellers is actually more like 45 days or 50 days of inventory for you as a new seller who just listed the product, because you won't just jump right to the market average sales per day. It'll be a slow climb to get there. And then lastly, make sure you're launching things that you can actually afford to do so. And the bigger products especially, don't order so many of them right away. Oftentimes they'll have higher price, so you can get away with sending in less and selling at a more expensive cost. That's going to do it for today's video. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next one tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much. Later.